I go eat at this taqueria across here from my work all the time, but whenever we do an episode, that's kind of where I think about what I'm going to do, and, like, I read Moto Matters and Crash and all that. Never read fucking superbikeplanet.com, though. Fuck that place, seriously.
No one does.
Right, no one does. And I'm there, right? And I'm literally sitting in there, I'm thinking about, what are we going to talk about? Like, Marquez has won 2 races, some people are excited, some people are bored, what should, like, the theme of the fucking show be? And this, like, super old dude runs into this, like storms into the taqueria, and he's like, where's 764B? And keep in mind, I'm on C Street. So a couple people are like, nah, this is B Street. And he's like, nah, you fucking idiot. The address B. This is 764A. Where's B? And he's screaming at, like, the Mexican dudes in the taqueria. And I'm like, bro, no one knows the address of anything. Like, the fucking address, what the fuck are you talking about? You just put that shit into your phone, it tells you. I'm like, what business are you actually looking for? And he's looking for a barber shop. And I'm like, okay, so I think that's upstairs. It just opened up, it's upstairs. And he goes, oh, okay. And then he goes, man, I gotta take a piss. So he runs over to the bathroom and knocks on the door. Someone's in there. They just went in there. I know this because I sit not far from it because the bathroom is in between 2 buildings. And he's like, oh, fuck, I gotta piss, blah, blah, blah. But he doesn't know someone's in there. He just thinks it's locked and needs a key. And so I'm trying to think about what me and Robin ever are going to talk about. And this guy rolls over and he's like, hey, man, where's the key to the bathroom? And then, like, we're in a taqueria and there's no one. It's 10:30 in the morning. There's no one there. And so he, like, yells to the cook at a taqueria in the Northern California. The dude don't speak English. Right, I mean, even a little. And I'm not judging whether that's good or bad. I'm just saying, Ola K. Right? I mean, I think he literally was like, K? And the guy's like, the bathroom, the key, the fucking bathroom. And then, like, this guy's got to go. And then he goes, like, K? And then this old-ass dude, like, just grizzled old dude with, like, 8 hairs on his head but 1,000 on his beard is like, the fucking Banyo spick. And I'm like, whoa. This shit, like, that escalated quickly. Like, this guy's got to take a piss so bad that his racism is coming out. And I'm like, bro, what? And I'm like, I think someone's in there. And the guy's fucking heated. And he's like, no one fucking speaks English in here at all. I'm like, we're in a dive taqueria.
And I speak English.
Right, I speak English, and I just told you where the place was, and that someone's in there. So, like, you got other issues, bro. And the dude fucking storms out, and the girl comes around from the counter, and she looks at me like, what the fuck was that all about? You would think that was the craziest thing that happened to me today at this particular taqueria regarding their bathroom in this 10-minute span, but you would be wrong, my friends. You would be wrong. Because that was nothing but, like, the hors d'oeuvres, if you will, because I hadn't even gotten my food yet, and, like, they have that carne asada on tap at those places. It's been marinating in that juice for, like, 3 weeks. Botulism is just growing left and right, but it's so good you can't not eat it, you know? And it's, like, $3 for a burrito the size of my thigh. And in comes this old homeless dude, and anyone who knows about living in the Bay Area, old homeless crackheads are aplenty. It don't matter that we got to pay $5,000 a month for a 1-bedroom or a fucking 1-room studio shared with 8 people. There's still crackheads aplenty. And this dude rolls in and he beelines to the bathroom. I know this because he announces his presence with, I gotta take a shit. And I'm like, literally holding my phone going like, Mark Marquez gains momentum. Rob wants to. This homeless dude's got a shit. So he rolls over, leans against the door, and just starts fucking pounding on the door. There's someone in there, and it's only been like 3 minutes. So if this dude's just taking like his morning constitution, if you will, I'm feeling real bad for him. You know what I'm saying? And this fucking homeless dude, he's like 4 feet tall. He looks like he's about 4,000 years old, and he has a 1988 Van Halen World Tour on. So my man is not that bad. You know what I'm saying? His shirt is solid. He liked Hagar. You know, it's okay. And so he rolls up to the counter and starts pounding on the fucking counter. And there's like no one in here yet. There's like one chick and the cooks. And he's pounding on the counter. saying he's got to go to the bathroom. And again, the vacant or occupied thing is there. No one's just looking. They instantly assume there's a key instead of looking down. And he starts pounding the counter. He grabs a napkin dispenser and is pounding it, saying he's got to take a shit. And the fucking owner comes out, this Mexican dude, and he's like, hey man, this is a place of business. You can't just do that. And he literally says, I'm going to shit my pants. And I say, well, there's someone in there, bro, so you probably have to go somewhere else. And, well, that was the worst thing I ever could have said, folks.
Oh, no.
That was the worst thing I could have said. Because he looks at the manager, he looks at me, and he drops trow in the middle of the place. And, like, y'all ever seen the interview where he's trying to hide his dick from the hot chick, and he's like, feast your eyes, right? Like, this dude had, like, his Van Halen shirt on and nothing else. And he's just hands on his hips, presenting, here's my fucking dick, like, here's my schmegma everywhere. Yeah, I said it. And, like, it's just, and I'm right there. This is happening. This is fully happening. I'm not making this up. And he looks around, and we're like, whoa, what the fuck? The chick's calling the cops, and he starts to squat. Yes.
Wow.
Yes,
Oh, no.
it's true. He drops to squat. No. I've got my card, and sometimes y'all know I eat there because if I get like 46 or whatever, I'll post like, haha, yeah, fucking Mexican orders on point. So y'all know I go to this restaurant on the Instagram stories, right? I'm posting this shit. And he drops trow, fully fucking nude, and just literally a Wendy's Frosty on the floor, grows a tail right in front of everyone. And I'm like, holy fucking God. Like, I already have hepatitis. Like, I have hepatitis now because literally seeing this. Everyone in the room has hepatitis. And the owner's like, holy shit, literally. And we just all back away. He literally takes a dump on the floor like Cartman on Mr. Garrison's desk in that one episode. And we all look like the class, right? We're just like... And he stands back up, and the dude's like, you might get the fuck out of here. The cops are on the way. So he perks up at cops are on the way. This guy's cognizant enough to know that his pants are at his ankles, so he's full penguining trying to get out of the place. Just shit everywhere, penguining out. And like, so he's smart enough to know that has his pants at his ankles, but not like smart enough to realize like just go anywhere else to take a shit. So he shits on the floor. There's shit all over him. He's shit everywhere, and he's running out his pants at his ankles. And the coup de grace, as at some point he realizes his getaway plan is flawed if he can only take a quarter of a step at a time. So he fucking bends over. I got the full shit spread. And all I'm telling you guys is the fucking funniest thing that we have for Marquez winning back-to-back is shitty Mexican taqueria back-to-back bathroom stories. Like, I'm just saying, back-to-back, I got nothing. I was like over it already.
That's the episode.
Yeah, that's it.
The episode. We're done. Bye, guys.
Done.
Yeah. Wait. So we started Writer's Law, and then we're done.
That's it.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. First things first.
First things first, writerslaw.com. If you get hit at a car on the way out of the taqueria on crack with pants at your ankles and covered in shit, you call Cy, because he'll get you off.
No, you don't call Cy then.
Well, you can call him still.
There should be a motorcycle involved and no shit of any kind.
No poo-poo, unless you shit yourself.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe after you get hit, but not before.
So anyway, speaking of doubleheader back-to-back wins, that taqueria's got doubleheader back-to-back bathroom wins, and Marquez took a dump on everyone in the championship at the end of Aragon, as Dennis would say, and fucking rock us in, Rob. Tell us how it goes.
All right, let's do it. Welcome to BrotoGP. This is episode number. Holy shit, I forgot what episode it is.
That's what it is. Episode. Holy shit.
Episode number 73. As you already heard, Kev is on the phone.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, Kev, thank you very much for gracing us with that story. What did you do with your burrito after getting that visual burned into your eyes?
The whole, cornucopia of events happened between ordering and arrival of burrito.
You did well, yeah, because all the cooks stopped and watched this happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So my burrito, let's just say I'm literally never eating a burrito again. You know what I mean?
Which I know is not possible because you live in California.
Yes, I do.
It's not possible.
It's not possible. Yeah. Right.
That's bad. Everett is here too.
What up?
He's here. He got up at 4 a.m. this morning, but we're going to make him record anyway. This will probably be quite a long episode, as you can already tell because we haven't talked about racing at all yet, and it's already been 10 minutes.
What up?
But all right. Let's jump right into it. I got a lot of shit on Instagram. I'm Rob for not... God, I can't even say the word shit.
Nope.
Poopy.
Poop.
Shit stories never
God
go
damn
home.
it. Actually, wait. No, so let's do the real Riders Law plug before we talk about motorcycle racing. Of course, Riders Law, they are your California motorcycle accident injury lawyers. They are the entire reason why I was able to ditch you guys and go to Alabama, go race at Barber, because they're my sponsor. They made that shit happen. We went to the Moto America banquet the day after, got to hang out with Tony Elias, a bunch of other racers, got to see everyone give speeches, accept their awards. It was really freaking awesome. So Riders Law, they're helping out our sport. If you need any legal help whatsoever, you need to battle with your insurance over some coverage, over some claims, you get hit on the street, you have an injury, please give them a call. They will help you out. I got some really good stories about some awesome stuff they've done, and we'll probably share those in a later episode. But we don't have time right now. So jumping straight into Misano, it's kind of interesting to talk about it after we've already watched Aragon. But the thing that I get from Misano is Marc Marquez really started his momentum building at that race. He essentially had the entire race in hand. Petrucci led after Jorge crashed, and Petrucci just kind of set the pace. But after that, Marc Marquez just sat there, and he just destroyed him in the final lap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was so heartbreaking. I mean... he literally, it's like he got Sete gibber now, fully, man, fuck. It was, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He got gibber now. It was just he rode a flawless race too. It wasn't like Yanni Hernandez leading that one race where he was clearly riding over the limit and you knew it was going to happen. It was like he was fucking riding perfect. He was just on points on the bike, and it was the hometown hero. It was the fucking Italian on the Italian team on the Italian bike, and fucking stabbed me in the heart or shit on my burrito. Marc Marquez with that final lap.
God damn it!
Right.
I mean, I'm looking at the lap charts here, and the gap never got over 0.6 of a second. Right? Marquez controlled the race the entire time. He made sure that he knew that Petrucci was there. And he kept that gap solid. And to me, like you brought up Gibbernow, right? This is what Rossi did years ago. He would literally just sit behind someone and play with them and make us an entertaining race. Marquez could have easily pulled out at lap 7 or something and just gapped Petrucci, and we would have had a boring ass race. But because we got that tension building the entire time, it was entertaining for us.
One, you stole my point I was going to make, is he's basically taken a note out of the Rossi playbook. But two, he really stole the fun out of that, because when Marquez leads the race on lap 6 with a big gap, it's 50-50 because he might crash out. So it's kind of got to watch still.
Yeah, and part of the problem too is
50-50.
Part of the problem is he and don't get me wrong, like Everett said, he kind of took a play out of took it out of Rossi's playbook, but no one wanted Marquez to win that time. It was fucking Petrucci, the big ass goofy dude on a satellite bike. Rossi's gone, so they need an Italian hero. All of that stuff, and it's this is his moment. You know what I mean? This is his moment to seize. He's never gonna get that chance again for that. That win would have been bigger than any other win by far. So when he actually passed him, it was oh fuck, because that was what everyone wanted to see. Except for, 18-year-old to 26-year-old European chicks who are obsessed with Marquez for now, but they'll be gone from the sport in 5 years.
Yeah, Petrucci's the hometown hero guy, that we've all been, the super underdog that has his moments, and it's like, oh, he can finally do it. And I think, at least for me, it dawned on me about partway through, halfway through, you thought, oh, he might be able to do it, and then halfway through you realize there's no fucking way. Marquez is just controlling this thing, just sitting there and stalking him, and he's
right. He's letting Petrucci, letting Danilo do the grunt work. Let him know how well the track is doing. Is there slippery spots? Are there damp patches in the dry, on the dry line? All that. He's literally just sitting behind Petrucci, watching what he does, so he knows exactly how hard how much extra hard he can push once he makes the pass. It's just literally cheat sheeting Petrucci. Just literally, he's all plugged up and ready to go and shit all over Petrucci's burrito. I mean, fuck, it was.
God damn it! There's kind of a slight side bet going on Barf on one of the internet forums about whether or not a satellite racer is going to win a race this year, and I kind of had a little bit of feeling. I'm voting no, and I was a little nervous around lap 10, and then once we got towards the end and Dovizioso started falling off, I was just like, oh no, Marquez is just toying with this fucker. He's totally screwed.
Fucking Johan Zarco leads a couple laps and then gets 1 second place, and everyone thinks satellite riders are gonna start winning shit left and right. Nah, bro, Cal's wins last year were a serious anomaly. That shit ain't happening again. You know what I mean? Come on.
I mean, I don't expect it to take another 10 years for it to happen again. But we're not going to get another string of them like we had last year. We might get one per season. Something else might happen, and it'll be a fluke. It'll be like Cal's rain or Jack Miller's rain win. Right? It's not going to be a solid, dry win where a satellite rider manages to beat Marquez and Dovi and Maverick and Jorge and Rossi and whatever. We'll get to the rest of them later, too.
Right. So I also want to get to one thing. Petrucci, we talk about that, Marquez clearly sat back, and then we all sort of figured out what he was doing. Petrucci gets past, hometown hero. This is his moment. He fucking, dagger in the heart to all the fans in Misano. And everyone's everyone talked about the booze. The booze happened. It's all over Twitter again, fucking Instagram. We've had this conversation a million times. And everyone wants to act like it's because the fans are doing it because of Rossi's orders or his silent approval or something. Right? All these weird conspiracies. No one really ever brought up that fucking the hated Spanish rival just stole the victory from the hometown boy on the hometown bike. I mean, that was the trifecta. Italian team, Italian bike, Italian rider, and he's in Misano. Sometimes you just boo the dude because he fucking stole. It's no different than if the fucking Tom Brady throws a pass in the end zone and someone fucking intercepts it back for a touchdown. You gotta boo the guy that intercepted Tom B. That's just how it goes. Every sport is cool with booing except for tennis and MotoGP. And tennis is skinny dudes in white short shorts and polo shirts. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And then supposedly badass motorcycle racers riding around battling at 200 miles an hour. What the fuck? They get booed once in a while. They interview UFC fighters after they've been knocked out in the ring. Right? And UFC and MotoGP riders are apparently so snowflakey that you can't boo them. You have to respect them. And you have to, golf clap them a little bit and just say, yeah, fuck you. Stop telling fans how they can and can't interact with a product.
I can't believe you just brought up tennis and the golf clap.
Right.
Holy shit. We just went there. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Everett.
And then I was going to say, the only people that care are the broadcasting people, right? Everybody else doesn't give a fuck and will boo. Motorcyclists going to be motorcyclists.
Right, and who cares is those fucking same aforementioned Euro fans who think they're, way too close to the riders. You don't know the riders, guys. You know that, right? You're not friends with them. You don't know them. Because you follow them on Instagram and their stories don't mean you're boys. They don't need your protection. Jorge doesn't need your protection. He's protected by the bodyguards he can pay with the millions of dollars that he has. And, Mark Marquez, I don't want to hear about don't boo him, he waved to the fans after he snatched pole. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's literally giving shit to the Rossi fan club at that turn. Like, which is kind of cool. He's actually starting to play the villain a little bit, which I thought was sweet. But, like, come on. You know, the same thing. The broadcast is literally saying, well, I wonder how the fans are going to react. They're, like, priming you for it, and then they tell you not to do it. Yeah, it's just like, I know it's kind of gone now, and the momentum there to bitch about it is gone. It's been a couple weeks, but still, it just felt so disingenuous, and also, like, you're forgetting the big story. They just stole... Marquez didn't just win, he stole the victory from the hometown kid. He's going to get booed, and that's fine.
Yeah, so let's keep it moving, and let's talk about Ducati a little bit here as well.
Yeah, Dovi on the podium still.
Yeah, right. So Dovi had a very solid title performance, right? He fell back a little bit towards the end of the race, but considering that there are plenty of other people that could have taken points off him, right? And
still on the podium is a good finish. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And that led us into the title being tied. Which is amazing for the pressure and amazing for the championship, and it's something that we love to see every year. I mean, I can remember, didn't this happen in 2012?
Damn, you're talking hella fast, dude. Straight Micro Machines style.
That guy did talk fast.
That guy talked That guy talked almost as fast as Rob.
Go, Rob.
But, like, yeah, I mean, for real, it's Rob. Slow the fuck down a little bit. But, like,
all right.
He tied it up. But it was like what we've said before, right? Like, if you can't win, you've got to be on the podium. You've got to do well. Like, and that was the moment. Valentino's gone. Maverick has a bad race. Like, it really became a 2-horse race. You know what I mean? Like, it really became, okay, it's really down to Dovi and Marquez. Valet's gone. Maverick has clearly just lost his momentum. So even though he didn't get the win, he was on the podium. It's tied. They have equal wins. Okay, now we know who's for real, what's going down, like, who's in the finals. And for me, like, I wasn't so bummed that Marquez won because Dovi was on the podium. And I'm like, okay, it's all tied up. It's the biggest pressure, you know. It's the generational phenom versus the hardest working man in race biz. What a great story.
Fastest dad in MotoGP
versus probably fastest guy that ever was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, seriously. Did you guys, seeing Jorge lead out and then bin it with like a 5-second lead, did that change your opinion of his abilities to adapt to the Ducati?
No, but you know, it was good to see him at least do it.
Yeah, I mean, because we've talked about before quite a few times that if the track conditions aren't perfect and it's dry, that Jorge's got nothing. And it seems like he's found the Ducati, the feel in mixed conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like he hasn't led races before. He actually does pretty darn decent on the bike early on and then fades like crazy. He's unable to set up the bike for the whole race in the way that Dovizioso is able to and ride it. And it's like, when I see Jorge out in front, I'm not thinking, oh shit, he's leading, he's going to run away with it, because he hasn't shown even a monochrome of that yet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, he did it. He did pretty well at Barcelona or whatever, and got his podium. And he's led a couple races. Like I said, he crashed out, but he hasn't led start to finish and battled. He's never really shown any gusto with that thing. It's like, well, he's leading early on, but that's not how you win races in the Michelin era. You put on the pressure at the end of the race.
That is true. That is a good point.
Yeah. I mean, even with the rain tires, it's kind of hard to tell if that's actually true. But yeah.
Yeah, but
it's true because I said it. Broto
facts.
That's
the other thing is him simply leading in the rain. We haven't seen in quite some time, and to do it on the Ducati, something he woke up on the right side of the bed and grew some balls or something. Because it's really interesting too. Because I forget where I saw it, but they mentioned how he used to be pretty good in the rain and in the wet, and then the recent years he's been terrible, and yet here he comes out and he's leading the race. What the hell?
First 6 laps.
But hey, dude, that's a big leap for this guy.
Yeah, no, it's true, and it wasn't a small gap. He wasn't just sitting in front of them. He was 4.5 seconds ahead before he.
But how the mighty have fallen. We're talking about how he led some laps before he crashed. The dude has 3 titles. 3 world titles, and he's beaten 3 of the greatest ever to do it. I've pounded this same point before. People forget he straight up beat Marc Marquez. He's the one who dethroned him. You know what I'm saying? Like, after, right? He's the one who beat him. He beat Valentino. He beat Casey Stoner. Everyone likes to act like Casey Stoner is the greatest there ever was, but Lorenzo beat him straight up. You know what I mean? Like, straight up beat him. There was no asterisks or anything. He just was better that year. So to be talking about how he led some laps in the rain, again, so did Yanni Hernandez. So he's done the same thing on the Ducati as Hernandez before shitting the burrito. He led some laps and then crashed. I mean,
yeah. All right, let's move on from Jorge then. And,
if you
talk
think
about
saying "let's move on" after I say "shit the burrito" is going to stop making me talking about that, it's not going to happen.
That's the way to poke Kev and get him to continue.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a lot to talk about. I'm just trying to keep this one moving.
Everyone wants like a 3-hour episode anyway. Me and Everett will spend 4 minutes waxing poetic on the Micro Machines guy. Don't get me wrong.
Go ahead, do it right
that
now.
Guy had a dope stash.
I'm reminiscing hard on that, dude.
That guy had a sweet stash, and those commercials.
So many Micro Machines.
They were fucking microed, bro. I mean, they were Pedrosa-sized machines.
They were micro.
Yeah, and that guy had one skill. He could talk hella fast, clearly, and he was literally on national television because of it. That's fucking legit. In this day and age, he'd have been on like Britain's Got Talent for 2 minutes, and then been on like some internet videos on Facebook when you're up late at night, just rolling through those videos that keep coming. But back in the fucking 80s. Fucking primetime TV commercials, convincing parents, like, until you, because you're a kid, you'd go nuts until you get me my Micro Machines, and you try to talk as fast as him just to annoy your parents and be straight gibberish.
He could be a rapper.
I'm actually trying to find a picture.
Had he been in today's world,
guy that you're talking about?
If he'd be in today's world, he'd be a rapper.
Nah, man. In today's world, rap is hideous. It's not like Tupac where it's like, all right, because I fuck your bitch, motherfucker, make money. Right? Now it's like, I could rap right now about this. I could be like, what's up, Rob? Recording me talking about what's it going to do with Micro Machines. I
have this somewhere. I have this aircraft carrier. I'm looking at the video on YouTube. This is insane.
You got a Micro Machine aircraft carrier? That's all I'm talking about.
Anyway, okay.
Anyways.
Oh, by the way,
Rob is gonna lose it. He's gonna pull out all those beautiful locks of his.
Random aside here.
This is the random aside.
Random aside. Yeah, another one. Chris Ulrich said he's down with our podcast because we say fuck on the podcast.
Yes, we do. Fucking A.
Yeah, I know. and talk about shitty burritos.
Yes.
Poop.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we've lost time to talk about Yamaha at Misano. We're gonna move on to Aragon.
Yeah.
We're gonna jump straight into the most recent race. We know this is
what
everyone
hold
really
on.
wants
I got
to talk
something
about.
to say. Y'all want we're gonna do 2 episodes, but you know what? We were gonna do a first episode and then a second episode, but then y'all filled me and Rob's feeds with bitching about where's our episode. Like, guys, fuck, man. Once in a while, Rob's got a real life. Like, y'all don't know, like. He got sponsored by legit sponsors to drive across the country to race motherfucking motorcycles. That is fucking dope. That's living the dream. That's as fucking sweet as it's gonna get. Like, you fucking cut him some slack. He can't be recording, like, in the afternoon after practice. He's got to be checking his data and trying to do that shit right. If his sponsors see that he's, like, off in the side, not even taking this shit serious, that's not a good look. Let my bro race for a hot second.
Let him
and
sleep
drive
in his car.
to Alabama.
Let him sleep in his fucking car, okay?
Right, let him sleep in his car in peace.
Making a living, for Christ's sakes, as a racer.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not making a living, but either way. I only drove till like 2 a.m. the first night. There was tons of time to record. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. And let's not act like we do this over phones, right? Let's not act like Alabama is like, the heart and soul of the tech area, like fucking free Wi-Fi is just dazzling from the clouds. It's fucking Alabama, brah. Like, it's Bama. It's completely flat. There's, it's like 1943 there still. Rob was lucky to even be in contact with us half of the time. It is not exactly like
we're lucky he made it back. Yeah.
He was. This isn't like when I was in Iceland at 4 a.m. and Iceland is like the highest quality of life in the world. It's a fully cashless society. There's free Wi-Fi everywhere. Like, it's totally different. And also, I wasn't doing anything in Iceland other than fucking drinking and slamming my fucking girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, we were just drinking and pounding. That's all we were doing all week. I could get up a little early and record. Rob had real shit to do.
I want to know if your girlfriend heard that and turned and looked at you and gave you like the stink face or something.
What? She don't know that's what we were gonna do in Iceland? For reals. Like, we're gonna see some waterfalls, we're gonna look for some elves, and then we're gonna get wasted and smush.
Do some shrooms, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
We did play, in my hockey game last night, we did play Pound Town just for, you know.
Yeah.
All right, we're moving on. We're moving back to motorcycle racing because that's what this podcast is supposed to be about. All right, so Aragon, Marc Marquez continued his momentum building, and he really kind of sealed the deal on the championship. He told us after the race that he didn't have a very good feeling with the bike, and it was kind of apparent because he didn't seem to have very much control in the first half of the race. But he still destroyed everyone.
He ran wide.
He still won the race.
He had some dive bombs and some running wide more than once.
Yeah, and that was shades of the Marquez that we expect / want because it's more entertaining. But then he still won the race.
Right. I mean, and you know, he still won the race. He did exactly what I said he's got to do. Is you have to win at your A-Trex in the Michelin era where you don't really know what's happening. You've got to win at your A-Trex, and that's what he did. And luckily for him, his title rival shit the burrito, and I mean. Yeah, there's a million things to say. It's just going to happen, Rob. Just accept it. Just accept it.
I'm laughing at Rob laughing now.
Yeah. But, like, you know, yeah, he won, and it was a pretty entertaining race for a minute, but it was just like, it kind of took the wind out of my sails when he won. I'm like, man, Rob's right. Like, the momentum is there. We're heading into the flyaways. He's young. He has all the energy, all the momentum. He's going to be bothered the least by flying 40 hours a week and shit. Like, he's the guy. This is where he's gonna seal the deal. And Aragon, you know, was the place where he kind of let everyone know that this is my title.
I mean, from the technical side, the huge variable for this round was the heat because they were practicing in like amazingly not too hot conditions. But then the race, the track temp was sky high, and everyone pretty much had to run a harder tire than they had practiced on the whole time. And that probably contributed to Marc Marquez not having the feeling like he was expecting. But it didn't bother him, whereas everyone else had this weird race where there was a lot of position swapping kind of midway through and towards the end, right? But Dani took forever to get around Maverick. Rossi fell back. Maverick kind of... It was very variable, except for Marquez at the front.
This is consistent... The last few years, though, Marquez has had a shit bike the whole time and still goes fast. He just rides through that shit.
That is true. That has been your point for a while.
And yeah, and sort of something that really occurred to me was with the rain, you know, with the wet mornings and then the heat difference. Like, what is Marquez thriving? We always say he's the king of flag to flag. He's the king of mixed conditions because he'll ride the balls off of anything. He doesn't care about near crash. He doesn't phase him. He doesn't need setup. And what is Dovey like? He spends the entire weekend perfecting the setup with that soft tire, race distance. They use that new proprietary technology they're using that we've kind of mentioned and talked about where they're really analyzing optimal laps and then building towards that with the track control every single time. Like, Dovey's entire skill set, he's world's fastest dad, but he's hardworking, he's nose to the grindstone, he's analyzing data, and they're building from FP1 all the way to the race, an upward trend to the peak. And he had none of that setup time, none of that time to build the bike to be exactly what he needed to be to follow the game plan perfect. They just had to fly by the seat of their pants. And Marquez might be the greatest fly by the seat of the pants rider there ever was. You ain't going to beat him. You're just not. In mixed conditions, when you don't know what's happening, the dude is unstoppable.
If everyone had to race Friday morning, you would give it to Marquez pretty much every time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They would show up. He'd have some base setup. It's been talked about that the Honda is generally easier to set up anyway as well. But yeah, and Dovey is the polar opposite. He needs the entire weekend. Yeah, losing Friday and actually losing quite a bit of the rest of the weekend too, because the conditions were so different for the race and so much hotter than they were for the morning sessions that Ducati's plan for Dovizioso just couldn't actually come together. I mean, he got beat 5 seconds. Jorge was in front of him by 5 whole seconds, and Jorge kind of had a seat of the pants sort of moment. Like he said, like, I can't produce the same lap times with the soft as I can with the medium, so we're going to go with the soft, and we're going to run that for race distance, and we'll try and be tactical about the tire wear. And it actually worked out for him, which was surprising, and it was also surprising to see that Dovizioso was behind him.
Yeah, but I guess, like, part of me is damn it, I kind of lost that train of thought there. Where it was like, you know, part of the FP1, FP2, FP3 as you're sort of pre-qualifying is that if you lose setup, if you have a day that's a wash, if conditions are so different from what you expect to be, you suddenly FP3 turns into pre-qualifying, and now you have to learn setup just to chase that one lap, so you make sure you're in Q2 off the bat. And that one lap is not really applicable to race distance. It's not applicable to what are my consistent metronome laps so I can pound out like Dovey does, where everything's so clean and concise all the way through, and he has the plan. So not only does he lose day one, but he sort of loses FP3 because he has to turn it into this pre-qualifying. And again, Marc Marquez thrives on that because he makes this habit of, I'm just going to crash every practice session and find that exact limit and then just don't go beyond that in the race. So he thrives in those conditions, but that's not Dovizioso's conditions. That's not Maverick's conditions at all. And so the whole weekend really played well into Marquez's strengths and really eliminated Dovizioso's strengths.
And it was a Marquez A track, like you've already mentioned.
Right, and
like
I'm not
somewhere he needed to win.
And I'm not trying to like backwards insult Marquez by saying like he doesn't do setup and like have a game plan, all that. Like that's Dovey's big strong point. Marquez doesn't. That's not what I mean. We've said this a million times. Those guys in that team is the master of gaming the rules and inventing new styles and setup. Right, like we said. I just mean if. Like you said, if everyone raced 5 minutes into FP1, Marc Marquez would win 7/8 of the races because he's simply the best at just finding the limit and pushing it and not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
I still wonder if the crashing and if pushing over the limit in practice is intentional or if it's just accidental or if it's just like second nature to him. Right? I don't actually think he pushes the front tire so hard in practice and crashes intentionally, but the more he does it, I don't know.
No, I mean nobody would crash on purpose, man. I mean, let's just be real, right? I mean, but the reality is,
unless you're Caparossi trying to take out a dude so you could win the title, yeah.
he just pushes 100% in practice because it's practice, and that's where you go and push your limits. And he's not trying to crash, but he's trying to see what the limit is, and every now and then he gets caught more often than other riders. But I think the difference is, and we keep saying this, and this is what's really remarkable, is he saves so many crashes. He saves more crashes every year than probably just
it's
by
miraculous.
All the other riders combined. Yeah.
Well, not even just that. He saves more than other people actually kind of get into, right? It's uncanny that he's able to accomplish all of that.
How do you push the front like that and save it? And he gets little rear wheel slides, and he just has some. That's his superhuman, superpower skill, I guess, is he can save slides.
He's a freaking mutant.
Yeah.
How many times did he crash at Aragon? Was it only twice? Once in qualifying and once, or was it 3 times? I don't even remember now.
It's just amazing to me that
who's counting
that right at this point. Who even cares? Right? Like we used to joke that eventually he'd get hurt or eventually something would happen, it would derail him, and he'd have to change. But like multiple championships and years in, I guess not. Because, like, how many times can he crash and not get hurt? At this point, it's kind of like, well, he just doesn't get hurt. He's really good at crashing. Maybe he just really goes limp. I don't know. It's to me, it's so weird that he can crash this much and he's fucking fine.
you probably could do some kind of analysis on the types of crashes he actually has. We haven't seen him have a major high side in a while,
right?
Or a really high speed crash. They're generally really low speed front end tucks or something like that, right? And then he just slides out and he just gets up. I mean, the best part is when he's sliding and he like pops up onto his feet and you're just like, dude, what the fuck? You just crashed a motorcycle.
Yeah. He just fucking he turns into the skid with his fucking body. You know, it's amazing. And I kind of wanted to I everyone's like, Kevin's got a fucking rant about something, this and that. And I kind of like had this thought, right? Like, a lot of us hate Marquez, or we sort of like don't hate him, but we're sort of sick of him winning. But I don't think that's what it is. Because what did we just talk about? We talked about he crashes a bunch, doesn't get hurt. He saves the front when he shouldn't. And he comes up with all these plans that shouldn't make sense and work. And at some point you realize that Marc Marquez reminds us that we don't fucking know shit. We've all been watching this sport for 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is. We all think we know these basic tenements, like, you can teach a crasher to not crash, but you can't teach a slow guy to be fast. And, like, you have to win the second half of the race and soft tires. Like, there's all these tenements of racing that we think we know. And Marquez just jumps in the front of what we think we know and takes a huge dump on it right in front of us. This isn't... Like, we don't know anything. And if everyone talks about happiness as expectation meeting reality, it's like we watch the show, we're like, no, there's no way he can do this. He's going to burn up his tires. Nope, doesn't. No, there's no way he can. He keeps losing the front, man. He keeps overcooking the front. Eventually he's going to lose it. Nap. He just fucking wins after dive bombing them anyway. It's like Marquez is an affront to everything we think we know, because we are actually a bunch of couch racing dumb shits who don't know anything. And Marquez is reminding us that every fucking weekend. And I'm kind of sick of it. I like thinking that I knew shit about racing. I like thinking that I knew some stuff. And you know what the worst part is? Valentino probably is sick of thinking he knew stuff about racing too. You know what I mean? Like Maverick Vinales is probably really sick of like being like, wow, you don't know shit at all. Like, this guy does things that are supposed to not be what you can do, and he consistently craps all over the, like, burrito of the tenements of the sport. And it drives me fucking insane because he's fucking too good. The asshole is too good. And it drives me fucking nuts. Now we know why dudes hated Muhammad Ali. Like, you weren't supposed to fight with your hands down and just swag on dudes. You gotta put your hands up and cover up. Protect yourself at all times. Build to the fight. Get the knockout. And he just put his hands down and fucking dance in your face and just swag up on you like you were nothing. And Marquez is basically the Muhammad Ali of MotoGP, whether you like it or not. Stylistically.
Where's Dennis for the Photoshop on that one?
Right. Well, and where does that put the greatest of all time GOAT conversation with both Rossi and Marquez based on that statement?
We're not going to make the comparison right now. The one thing that we do know is... No, we're not. He
called him Muhammad Ali, and Muhammad Ali is definitely the GOAT of boxing.
Mike Tyson would have fucking killed Muhammad Ali if they actually fought. He would have fucking murdered him. He'd have ate his face off. He'd have ripped his ear in half. Have you ever thinking Muhammad Ali thinking he could do the rope it up? Have you seen Mike Tyson's head movement? It's fucking retarded. Seriously, everyone on YouTube looks up Mike Tyson knockouts. Look up Mike Tyson head movement. It's unreal. And it's the same thing with Marquez. He just invents new things constantly that turns the sport on its head. And at some point, a lot of guys are just sick of, like, thinking he's gonna do this. I'm so sick of turning to my girlfriend and telling her something, and then Marquez being like, this dude doesn't know shit, and he just, like, rides off in front of me. I'm like, damn, I don't know shit.
God damn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, no, I'm segueing, hard segue to Rossi here. So Rossi put people to shame. Yeah, Rossi put people to shame with doing something that racers shouldn't be able to do.
Shame! Ding, 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 ding. Shame! Ding, ding. Shame!
There's the Game of Thrones reference.
Shame!
Yeah, so how many days? 23 days since he broke his leg? The last time he broke it, it was, what, 48 or something or other?
Shame.
And he comes back... God damn it. Oh, I lost my train of thought. What
it was
did Rossi
23
do?
days
Someone else.
and 24. Johan Zarco basically said they all have to accept the shame of finishing behind him. Like, Everett, you know how you always say, like, sometimes you wonder why these guys even race, right? Like, you're so-and-so on an Avintia Ducati, like, kind of, why are you even there? You know what I mean? Like, you know you can't win. You know what I mean? Like, you could probably go do pretty well top 5 in World Superbike or a National Series. Like, you kind of, often that's a point you make, like, you question, why are these guys even there? Like, when you have no shot. Like, you can't win.
Yeah, these guys
it's not
are absolute rock stars. Why would they settle for being last place?
right. And it's the same question. Fucking Valentino Rossi's like 1,000 years old. He's balding solid. He, and he broke his leg, and he said he couldn't even take a shit by himself for a couple days. And it's like, he gets on the bike and finishes 5th in front of all those guys. Damn, why are you even there, bro? Why are you even there? Like, at least Cal just crashed out. Cal's just like, I'm going to try my ass off.
Put it on the front row.
Right.
Yeah, right. Put it on the front row, and then everyone started thinking about shame, and then he finishes 5th in front of all the satellite riders.
Right. I mean, literally everyone that finished behind him should shave their head and walk down the streets of Aragon naked while the BrotoGP fan base throws rotten onions at him. 'Cause fucking shame.
Because he
This
can.
is a terrible mental image. Oh my god.
Because he fucking can. Dude's just the beast.
I mean,
right,
so what do you put higher for?
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I gotta know because Everett is, he's sort of like an avowed. He's not a big fan of Valentino. Everett's never really liked. Everett's always complained about the politicking of MotoGP and guys get rides based on this and that. Valentino's always had the best equipment, and after the Ducati fiasco, he snagged the best equipment again. And there's some truth to that stuff, although I don't agree to the extent that Everett, but. As sort of like one of those guys who's not super into Valentino, and then you see a kind of performance like that, like, what does it make you feel, or what were you thinking as like me as a sort of a non-Marquez fan to admit he clearly was the best and fuck, like, what was your thought process, a relative non-Valentino fan?
It's amazing, and what it shows is that he still believes that he is a competitor and is in the championship hunt, and you just don't see him. I mean, we've asked him, is he going to retire soon? And I think this whole round put that to bed, in my opinion. He's still got the fire and the hunger to go prove himself and compete. To your point, he's not circulating in last place. He's there at the front, and he's got the shot, he's got the ride, he's got the talent. He's going to go do it. And the fact that he went out there, dude, you have to immensely respect that. I mean, I think I've even told you this year, Valentino's made more of a fan out of me than and even a little bit last year, he's made a big fan out of me over prior years, because it's almost like he's the number 2 on the team now, and I think that for me really changes the dynamic for Rossi. So. Yeah,
because a lot of hold on, I'm turning to serious interview. I'm interviewing Everett for a second because you hear serious Kevin is back.
On the spot. Wow.
Let me be blunt. Is there a labor crisis in America today? No, but Valentino breaks his leg, right? He instantly is, I'm getting surgery, I'm rehabbing, I'm on the path. The first thing the guy thinks is not how much, I need to just rest up and be good for next year. It's, I want to race. I want to race. Like, that's it. I want to be on the track. I want to circulate. At everything I do for the next month, half a month or whatever, month and a half, is I'm going to get back on track and do the best that I can. He's out of the title, honestly, but he just wants to be back on track. And you just, you wonder where the motivation is for, like, as you've said, he's got more money than anyone. He's running, a Moto2 and a Moto3 team, and his business basically makes the clothing for 3/4 of the grid.
Yep. It's
just for the love of competing.
Kev, before I lose this thought, what you just said is that he has no chance at the championship. I would argue that he believes and did some math, and you take this year and the points lead and where it's at and how uncertain the outcome of each round is and who's going to be at the lead of the championship. Obviously, with Marquez taking 2, he's showing quite a bit of dominance, but you guys have said this, he could crash and finally get hurt, and who knows, right? We don't want that to happen, of course, but I'm just saying shit happens in racing, and Rossi's done the math. The guy is the smartest guy on the grid. I will give him credit for that day in and day out. The smartest guy on the grid. And every now and then he slips up, but he's done the math, Kev. He knows he's still in contention. There's enough rounds left. What are there, 4 or 5?
Right, and enough rounds, enough rounds. Think about it, right? Like, Valentino crashes and breaks his leg, and everyone's like, should guys still be dirt tracking? Did anyone see Marquez's fucking Instagram the other day? He's airing it out like he's Bubba fucking Stewart. Did you see that shit? He's like 80 feet in the air on a motocross bike in a full whip. I mean, he's one motocross accident. Again, I'm not wishing injury on anyone. You want to boo riders on the podium, boo away. I think it's fucking great. Just like you boo Ric Flair when he pokes Hogan in the eye and then fucking gets the pin. You know, like you boo Marquez, that's fine. I don't wish injury on anyone, but dude, one of the title contenders just broke his leg during dirt track, and Marquez is posting pictures of him airing it out like literally 20 feet on a triple. That's one false neutral away from, a broken leg, a broken wrist, who knows, a cracked ankle, anything, and that changes that dynamic completely.
And
I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised that HRC isn't putting a stop to that. Like, they usually have that big brother sort of thing going on with the title. Like, they're like, hey, there's only 4 rounds left, and you're not that far ahead, and some of these tracks you don't go very well at. Like, cut that shit out. I'm very surprised that they haven't got on top of that.
Right, you stop trying to hit triples on your 454 stroke right before the flyaways were like, that flyaway is a trek. Start to finish, those guys aren't home for a month. And that's kind of, I think, why Valentino came back, to get back to our original topic, was he needed to see how fit he was before the flyaways. Because once you've committed to the flyaways, there's no going back. And he needed to know if he had the gumption and I just really read one of Rob's texts. If he had the gumption and, the gusto to make it through that, that haul of those 3 flyaways back to back to back. And he proved he did. But in the same note, one errant thing, like Everett said, and he's completely back in it.
And Dovi's starting to falter, right? And right. Mav, he's not overly impressing.
Mav's out of it. Fuck Mav.
Again.
Seriously, fuck him.
And again, I'm just saying, make no mistake, he's done the math. There is a chance, maybe a small one, but there is a chance, and he just showed it this weekend that he's viable.
Whoa, Kev. Wait, isn't Mav supposed to win half the races this year?
He was! And he was even on fucking point to do it. Like, what the hell happened, Rob? Tell me. Rob, what the fuck happened? He leads all the tests, and then you could even say, well, he's just chasing a lap time. He fucking wins the first 2, makes a mistake in the third, comes back and wins another. And I'm like, okay, my boy's on point. He even learned from his mistake and bounced back and got another win. And then it's like, what the fuck happened? Like, they make some tire changes, he has a little crash at Coda or whatever, and it's like the dude went from being obvious title challenger to no one. Like, Dovi came up big in Misano, a track that he hasn't traditionally done that well at, got 3rd when he needed to. Where's fucking Maverick? He gets that 1 second place and we think he's back, and then nowhere to be found again. How can you get, Valentino got on the front row with a broken leg, bro. If the bike's that good, you can go win the race, or at least be on the podium. What are you doing? At some point, does Paris Hilton need to throw you more money? Does Paris and Nicole Richie need to bring back and tell you how hot you are or something? I mean, I don't know what the deal is. You broke up with you broke up with your girlfriend who was thick as a bowl of oatmeal, and ever since then, you've been, on the drug.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was the lack of the training partner. No training partner anymore.
He is sad, dude. He's got a hole in his heart. He can't ride no more.
You think he's up late at night, texting her, how he misses her and shit? Or they're having that?
And who is it dating her now? Redding, right? I mean...
Oh, he's jealous. He's jealous. That's what it is.
He's got shit on his mind, dude.
ever just put the hole in it, because if she's dating fucking Redding, we saw how well fucking the British guys on the final row of the GP did the fucking Brexit row. You know what I mean? Like, that was hideous.
It's pathetic.
It's just like Maverick went from this guy who was, I said it a million times, stone cold assassin. He's so smart, intelligent. He doesn't let shit get in his way. He's narrow and focused, and he's pointed. He wins on the Suzuki, and he gets to the Yamaha, and he instantly dominates. And it's like the moment he realized, holy shit, I am actually a title contender, and here's all the pressure. And he folds. Like, I get it. Winning on the Suzuki, you're everyone's fucking hero because no one had done it in so long. It's easy. There's no pressure. You get 4th, 5th, 6th in the Suzuki. Well, that's where you're supposed to be. But you jump on the Yamaha and your fucking partner's the Valentino. You got to win, bro. And you got to fight for the title. And the moment he had 3 wins in the first 4 or 5 races, and suddenly he was the title threat, and you gotta win. Your job is to win the title. No one's gonna praise you for it. Like, you know, that's what it is. That's what you were here for. And he folds. It kind of reminds me of Chris Rock saying, like, dudes want, you know, praise for it. Man, I got a job. Bitch, you supposed to. Or I take care of my kids. That's what you're supposed to. I ain't ever been to jail. Like, Maverick goes and wins on Yamahas, and Lynn Jarvis is like, well, good shit. That's why you're here, asshole. That's your fucking job. Don't expect a pat on the back from me.
I mean, I think it was a combination of that and the fact that everyone else already knows the title game, right? They know how the whole season is going to go. They know they have to put it together throughout all those rounds. And Mav just kind of bust out of the gate, went as fast as he possibly could, and then the second he faltered, he was like, holy shit, everyone else is going faster now. I don't know if I can keep up. And that's exactly what happened, right? He's not been that far behind when you're talking about just individual races and maybe lap by lap, but it's contributing to non-podium finishes, which is getting him out of the title challenge.
Right, and quick, too.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, really, really fast. There was a quick descent there. I mean, he's only, 28 points behind Marquez right now?
But what he's
so
not
it's closer
showing...
than the World Superbike title.
Fuck the World Superbike title, seriously. But, like...
Too easy.
Right, you want to talk about shitting in a burrito. That's just a big carne asada bowl of fucking dump that no one gives a shit about. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Thanks. Those sound effects are perfect. Right. But, you know, with Maverick, it's like, yeah, he's only 28 points back, but he's not showing improvement. He's not showing that he's in it. He's not back to form. He's not showing flashes of brilliance to remind us. He's just, you know, a 6th through 3rd guy right now. And that doesn't win you titles.
Oh.
At least Dovey was, you know, Dovey would win, and then he had a couple of non-podium finishes, but boom, he'd come back with 2 wins, right? He would string successes together in between those, and Maverick hasn't done shit since the beginning of the season, and, you know, I'm just gotta say, like, I'm fully off the train. The train left the station.
Yeah, I just don't see the fire. I mean, that's the bottom line. You don't see him getting fired up.
Was that belly fire?
That intensity. I mean, yeah. It's missing. Something's missing, and who knows, dude? He's young, man. Maybe it is lady problems, but I think there's just more. I
can't believe I'm going to do this. I can't believe I'm going to do this and try and get you back on the train with someone. But Kev, you've brought up this point before. 3 of the 4 races that are coming up are exactly where Mav dominated the tests.
You damn right.
We got Phillip Island, Sepang, and Valencia. Right, that's where he showed everyone what he could do on the M1, and you know they're going to go back to those tracks and have a better setup idea, right? They've switched to the 2018 M1 already, but they've already tested it, they've already raced on it. I'm sure they know how to translate their setup from last offseason to the new bike. They're going to show up there. He's going to have that confidence of knowing that he's the best at here. He was the best most recently at these tracks. How is he not going to get confidence there and be able to pull that form back in?
Damn you with your seductive broto facts. Damn you.
You're just gonna wait for him to crash out at Motegi, and then it's just fucking over and all his confidence.
No, I mean, look, I want him. I want him to win. I still want Maverick. I mean, I want Dovey to win the title more now just because the story is too damn good. But I want Maverick to win and claw back. I want it to go down to Valencia. I want it Maverick, Dovey, Marquez, three-way shootout. It sounds like a hot Friday night. And see who goes. But I'm just like, man, he hasn't, like Everett said it best. Where's the fire? Where's the belly fire? You know what I'm saying? Like the fucking gumption when you break your leg and you come back 3 weeks later because you just have to be on track and you have to battle because that's what you live for. How could Maverick only finish one position ahead of an old-ass dude with a broken leg? Like, how did that not give him belly fire? How did that not set his soul on fire like the competition? Like, back in the day, Kevin Schwantz and Wayne Rainey, those guys hate each other so much. Like, Schwantz liked Rainey doing terrible more than he liked winning himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fucking hate has to be there. Like, Casey Stoner hated Valentino. Your ambition outweighed your talent and all that stuff. Like, you gotta have some fucking hate in your heart. You know what I mean? Like Clayton Bigsby style. Let your hate free. Like, yeah, ever got it. But don't let that kind of hate free, guys. Not that kind of hate. But like, you can't settle for that position when the guy who you're supposed to be basically stealing his job is right behind you with a broken leg that's so visibly pinned you can see the head of the bolt under his skin.
Yeah, there's no fire there. I mean, he probably lost it too when he got passed by Dani Pedrosa because we haven't seen that fire from Pedrosa all year, really, and Pedrosa just kind of made him look silly at Aragon and got second behind Marquez.
The only thing that Pedrosa in terms of looking silly was his bitching about Valentino not letting him pass. Seriously, shut the fuck up, right? Like. Right, you know what I'm saying, right? Like, he's complaining about not letting him through because they were going too fast. You race fucking motorcycles! You don't go... I mean, going fast is what you do. There is no turn in which you're not going fast. Don't complain that Valentino should have let you through on that because you guys were going too fast. Like, literally choke on some dicks. I like Dani Pedrosa, but that was a fucking bitch-ass statement.
It was pretty bad, yeah.
Right, don't throw me a curveball, bro. Just do a fastball straight down the line. Well, my job is to not let you beat me. You know what I mean? I mean, he was just salty because he had to try so hard to beat a dude on one leg.
Oh, yeah, dude. That motherfucker's the GOAT. He's hard to beat. Oh, wait, who's the GOAT now?
Do you think that Nick Harris was right that Dani Pedrosa was pulling a tear off, or you think he was flipping off Rossi?
He was.
The only thing that Nick Harris is right about in the last 5 years is the decision to fucking retire.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't even think he chose to.
Yeah, he didn't chose to. Right.
We'll never know.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, it looks like Danny's pulling a tear off there and missed it. He was going too fast at 200 miles down the back straight." Like, dude, he was fucking trying to flip him the bird. He was pissed.
Yeah, exactly. Which is funny too because we've talked about at length that Dani and Valentino get along pretty well. They generally don't, they like each other. The running joke that Valentino was the first guy to get Dani Pedrosa drunk way back in the day. All those funny stories from the early 2000s, but. Right, exactly, pre-Broto. But it's on one hand, it's cool to see Dani pissed, but on another, it's like, bro, you bitching about like some dude not letting you pass? Come on, man.
It was just a little moment. I mean, look, I've raced, and I know Rob's probably had this happen. It's frustrating and annoying when you're clearly behind somebody and about to make the draft, and they go and do that, or they squeeze you to the edge of the track, and there's no room to go. It's like. You could do it. It's just kind of a dick move, and it's kind of like whatever. But he was faster. He shouldn't have. And he's in the moment. He just was annoyed. So fair enough.
Apparently, I did it to JD Beach in Alabama, and he was really annoyed on the cool down lap.
Did you call?
Whatever. I've never seen you and JD Beach in the same place at the same time. Anyway,
yeah,
I'm not entirely convinced that you aren't JD Beach.
That's a good point though. But so yeah, I was wondering if
my
I was
hair
wondering
is wavy.
on the back markers.
My hair is wavy. His hair is curly. It's totally different. Get over it.
You're both like strangely effeminate, 5'2", skinny dudes with really long hair and 4 total hairs on your face. Don't act like it's not obvious that you.
That's all.
Don't act like it's not weird that we say you look alike.
Identical.
I'm not 5'2". God damn it! You just think I'm
5'3".
whatever.
Dude, in the picture of you and Tony Elias and all of that stuff, you might have been the tallest guy. Well, Shalina was actually the tallest guy, but like, that's not. It was fucking Tony Elias. I mean, my cat is taller than Tony Elias.
I didn't say it this time.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Oh no, yeah, you can't go there, Ev. Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh man, all right. So we covered Nick Harris retiring. If you haven't heard, listeners, we finally got our wish. We don't know if BrotoGP has anything to do with it, even though I told you specifically to email Dorna about.
We
getting
absolutely
him
had something to do with it.
We
were
clearly
the
did.
reason he fucking gave it up. He listens.
No, I mean, here's the deal
hilarious.
with. I mean, I know we're not talking about actual racing, but like, it's not even funny anymore. He's quite bad. It's a detriment to the broadcast. Like, cool, he's been at it for 38 years. That's your sign right there. That's too long. If you're the voice of the show, you have to be you have to connect to the new generation, because let's be honest, motorcycling in most places, motorcycle sport is a young man's game. Now there's lots of older fans, and we got lots of older fans ourselves, and I love every one of them, middle-aged and up. But if you are 38 years deep, that means you were at it before those middle-aged dudes like were even watching the show. It's just too far. You're constantly repeated tropes, like the fact that we created a bingo board that was right on with the shit you say, the fact that you called Bradley Smith Pol Espargaro and the dude didn't even like scrimp on you, he just said, yeah, that's actually Bradley Smith. Like, you're just terrible. You needed to retire 8 years ago, and I hate to say it because you've called a hell of a seasons in the past, but you've effectively ruined, speaking of Muhammad Ali, you ruined whatever legacy you had with your stuttering nonsense that no one wants to hear anymore.
Damn,
Wow,
that's harsh.
Wow, that was deep.
That's real.
If Nick Harris listens, you might have made him cry.
If Nick Harris listens, y'all know I need to be the guy. Y'all know it.
Do it.
Everyone knows it.
You could.
Kev needs a
Moto
Zuma,
3.
and he needs
ramp
to
up in
be.
Moto 3.
Fucking Moto 3. Have you seen how long those guys' last names are, Everett? I can't say that shit.
You would love it. It would be, dude. It would be bonkers.
It's total insanity.
We should do that. We should do the dub over Kev broadcast.
Well,
If we're gonna do it, it'll be Motegi because it can actually be live, and we can not have watched the race.
Last time I tried to do it live, they fucking banned me from Facebook. So I don't, you know what I mean? Like, Jesus, fuck already. But here's the thing, like, Everett, for real. Like, I know I'm the only guy, one of us that really watches UFC and stuff, but UFC's been doing this thing where they have an alternate call, and it's Snoop Dogg.
What?
Right? Yes.
Are you serious?
This is a real thing. I'm not making that up. They have an alternate call, and it's Snoop Dogg. Look, if we're a little too edgy for you, if we talk about homeless dudes shitting too much for you, I understand that. But other people are cool with it, and you should have the alternate call with us. Just like you can choose your multi-pass screen, like you should have the multi-call, and it could just be me and Everett drunk off our asses.
Oh man, I mean, I want to be the new Dylan. I'm totally cool with that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We'll fly around the world. We'll have Dylan will be doing his thing, and then Rob will be running around like a little fucking leprechaun with long hair, like trying to get sneak pics of fucking shit. And every time he buzzes in with some pseudo technical jargon that no one gives a fuck about, Everett will just be like, he'll have a buzzer. Like a fucking, like a whammy.
Buzzer,
like,
yeah,
no whammy, no whammy, no whammy, whammy! All I'm saying about the Nick Harris thing is the guy had a hell of a career, but I'm glad it's over. It's time for some new blood and for the show to be reinvigorated. You know, and speaking of new blood and something need to be reinvigorated, my man Bradley Smith gots to go.
Ooh, hard segue to KTM there.
Yes.
Do we actually care what they're doing?
I do.
You don't care about
Absolutely.
Bradley.
They're super relevant,
Yeah?
dude. And even more importantly, the rumor of the expansion in Moto 2 to a bigger cast of
Not
bikes,
a rumor.
right?
That's for real,
not a rumor.
I'm sorry. I thought it was a rumor. I didn't. Well, we don't know who else filling them, I guess is the point, right? So
Sam Lowe's is on the second team. I don't know who the fourth rider is.
You guys see it. Look how excited you both get about it. So it's extremely relevant. And the point being is, if they're going to feed those 6 bikes and those riders up in the series, we need to make sure that they got their shit together at the premier level. So, yes. And we need Bradley to go be the test rider, it sounds like.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure Bradley's a real nice guy or whatever. I actually don't give a fuck. But, like, dude is getting shown up huge by the test rider. And Mika Kallio wasn't exactly known as, like, a killer. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not some guy that we thought, like, that we think. Mika Kallio is a decent rider. And he is literally shitting all over Bradley Smith's KTM burrito to the point where it's like, you gotta do what you gotta do. Aprilia made the press. This year was the precedent of you gotta fucking put up or shut up. Yanni Hernandez's team just fucking told him to bounce. Sam Lowe got kicked out of the middle of a 2-year contract because he sucks balls. Like, there is not enough seats in professional motorcycle racing for the amount of talent that's out there. So if you suck, get the fuck out.
You know what I mean? It's kind of been a nice renaissance or just a change of the whole thing. The only one really next year that's sticking around that may not have the results that we'd like is freaking Bautista. Right? He's the only rider that I can think of that kind of needs to bounce. But the whole Avintia team was dropped and replaced.
The problem with Bautista is he's had a few moments.
Yeah. Hold on, I don't want to get off KTM for a second before we can talk shit about Bautista all we want. Don't get me wrong. We're gonna circle back to that quick style. We can address that big time. But KTM, they have a major sponsor. They're fully committed. They have a factory team at all 3 levels. They're testing, they test more parts and chassis than Yamaha do. Kallio was on a new chassis with a new swing arm that Bradley didn't have. Like, they're testing hard. They are serious. Bradley Smith was brought in for one thing, which was to test that bike at race pace. So after 2 years, when KTM makes a hard push for that title and for wins, it's set up. If he's not even as fast as their test rider in race conditions, bro, you got to get the fuck out. Yeah, it's hard, but don't give me this loyalty bullshit. You are only as good as your last couple races, and your last couple races suck balls, and Kallio's last couple races have been pretty fucking decent.
No,
right? I mean,
compared to that, he's beat both him and Pole, right? So
he finished behind Pole last race, but 1 position behind him. Yeah.
Yeah, he dropped back over time. I mean, he's probably just not quite as fit in race conditions, but dude, I don't know. I think you got to give the guy the merit ride and say, look, and if you read the article that Smith where he was interviewed, he just flat out said, I got nothing to blame. He's got slightly newer stuff, but that's not it. It's me. It's purely on me, and he owned it up. And kudos to him for that piece. But yeah, dude, you got to go. I'm sorry, and go be the test rider. And then when you get a wild card, if you beat him, you can have the ride back.
Yeah, and it's just like there's a lot of rumors, Rob, and I don't know if this is true, but this shit is like permeating the brotosphere quite a bit. A lot of people in like some pretty high up places are saying Marquez to Red Bull at the end of his contract. That the Red Bull pays him a ton of money. Red Bull wants him on the KTM. That bike is going to be good. They want Marquez and Oliveira on that bike. And look, it sounds crazy to me, but I've said it a million times. The way Marquez becomes the GOAT is he wins on a different bike because Valentino did it. Casey Stoner did it. You got to resurrect a brand. Like, he needs to do something that so fully pushes him beyond the scope. And that's it. That's how he becomes the hero again and doesn't get booed. That's how he becomes, the miraculous hero of the series as he resurrects the brand. He does something no one has done before. Casey Stoner style on the Ducati.
If KTM doesn't win a race next year, would you take it and you were Marquez?
I was going to say, you have to decide if it's going to maybe be, it's like the Ducati stuff, right? It's like you got to decide, can I maybe win a couple races this year, but really I'm doubling down for the year after so I can get my kind of growing pains year out of the way. And with Marquez, you never know. He might pull it off and do it in his first year, but you're seeing that the bike looks reasonably competitive. There's obviously a lot of growth because it's not getting top fives. So, I mean, I don't know.
But again,
I wouldn't
Pole and Smith weren't really top 5 riders on the Yamaha. I think that bike, another year development, is look, I think Marquez could win on a Zuma. You know what I'm saying? For real. The guy's just too fucking good.
I agree. That's the thing.
Like, I hate it. Could Marquez win on the KTM? Yes, because I think Marquez could win on anything. I'll never bet against Marquez not winning a race in a season. That'll never happen. It'll never happen.
There's just been good examples in recent years of people going to non-winning machinery and getting their asses handed to them. Just kind of getting into situations that they weren't expecting because you can't ride the freaking bike before you sign it.
Yes, it could be like Lorenzo right now. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, and the Lorenzo bike they'd already won,
but it could be like Valentino at Yamaha, and that's the thing. To circle back to Bradley Smith, I think if there's even a partial chance that Red Bull KTM can get Marc Marquez, you have to do every single thing possible to increase that chance because he's the best rider on the grid and he's who you need to win a championship most likely, right? To win races, you need Marc Marquez. So if there's any ability to get him, you have to do everything possible. And Bradley Smith is not pushing the bike to develop it to possibility to get Marc Marquez. They want to bring up Marquez and they want to bring up Miguel Oliveira. They want multiple teams. Like, there's hungry ass riders coming up on that KTM and in that KTM family, and Bradley Smith just isn't getting it done. So fuck them. Put KTM in there or put Kallio in there.
Yeah, I think it's funny that you brought up the Rossi move from Honda to Yamaha because didn't Yamaha win races before Rossi went there?
Not that year. He went in 2004 and 2003. They won no races.
I thought Biaggi won.
They won in 2002.
They won in 2002.
I think Biaggi had won a couple.
He had in 2002. Go ahead and Wikipedia. I know this shit, babe. I was in that. I was watching.
Come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro.
Biaggi won 2 races in 2003, but he wasn't riding the Yamaha.
Right. Yeah. So it was like it was Carlos Checa on the Yamaha, and then like someone else. Right.
And you guys have heard the stories. The rumors were that Rossi had kind of internal knowledge that the Yamaha was actually really good.
I think Valentino, secretly rode the bike out of contract, like literally broke his contract and rode it too, snuck in and rode it.
Back then that would have been easy, yeah.
Back then it would have been, yeah. No one was Facebook living that shit or Instagram living it. But yes, I care about KTM. I want KTM to win. Oliveira got pole ahead of Passini and then got third again in Moto2. He's looking solid. I think a win is any day now. Certainly next year, I think wins on that Moto2 team, especially when they expand. And for me, sorry, but a lot of you British riders just ain't cutting it. And you've all benefited from the fact that the entire English-speaking media is basically British riders, so they can skew everything in your favor. And if perception is reality, everyone thought Scott Redding, Sam Lowes, and Bradley Smith were a lot better than they were. And they weren't. And if you have any questions about that, see qualifying from Aragon.
Call my assistant. We'll have a conversation.
Right, exactly.
Oh man,
I agree.
All right, guys, we got some time for some listener questions here. So, Kev, do you got a few?
Fuck, you didn't. You had to tell me that before. I gotta pull that shit up, and my phone is running so many things at once. And now I think my girlfriend's watching some Netflix or something. I don't know. One guy wanted to talk about.
Chill, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So what the fuck? And now it's not pulling up. This is annoying. But one guy mentioned North Korea, which I thought was a funny thing to talk about when every single person otherwise has said, the only thing we want you to talk about is don't talk about politics. So...
Is there a new North Korean rider?
Yeah, dude, a North Korean rider would be so
I tried to say it best straight as face. I couldn't keep it there long.
You were close. Boy. You almost made it.
I'm desperately trying to pull our Facebook up, and it just fucking shit just straight ain't loading.
Well, there was one about Rob. Rob is now doing the presser for apparently for TechCrunch and the iPhone X release. We did find that footage. Rob, that does look a lot like you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I guess.
One guy wants to know when we get this question literally every single week. When is Dani going to retire and Cal can take that factory spot? Cal just crashed out again while Dani Pedrosa got second. Y'all are fucking nuts. Cal hasn't done shit this season except crash a bunch. Dani is doing significantly better. Dani's not leaving Repsol Honda until Dani chooses to leave Repsol Honda.
Even if Dani left Repsol Honda tomorrow, Cal would still not get the seat.
Right.
No. Yeah.
I also want to point out Ryan Carson wanted us to talk about Moto America, but God knows that won't be covered. You're right. But about Joe Roberts sucking in Moto 2. I don't want to talk about Joe Roberts sucking in Moto 2. What I want to talk about is Joe Roberts has given me some of the greatest info I've ever learned off Instagram stories in my life, which is in Aragon, there's a vending machine in which you can buy an Alex Rins hat or a dildo. Aragon has vending machines that sell two things. The bottom row is MotoGP swag, and the top row is dildos. I'm not making it up. There's dildos and Alex Rins hats for sale in this particular vending machine. It's a purple dildo. And it's not one dildo like accidentally placed. It's a whole row with that little circular spring that spins to release said dildo. So if you've got like €450, you can get your dope 42 hat and get something to sit on during a boring ass MotoGP race.
Wow.
Yes, no, I'm not joking. It might, I don't know if it's on there anymore, but go look. It's a fucking thing. He said, and you know what? Joe Roberts straight says dildo, too. He doesn't just, like, look at it and be quiet like, He points out, that's a dildo. A whole bunch of dildos.
And for that, Joe Roberts, we thank you.
Right.
I will say, like, 3 sentences about Joe Roberts sucking in Moto 2. 1, his team really blows. 2, his rain performances are showing us that he has more talent than the dry setup can manage. And 3, he's getting a full-time ride next year in Moto 2 that I'm not really that excited about because it's not a new chassis because they've been competing in other championships, but it is a new to Moto 2 chassis. And it is on I think it's on the team that Axel Pons is on this year, which is kind of also a nobody team. So I'm not hopeful, and it bothers me because we need an American presence in the GP paddock.
Well,
but either way,
on that note, I will say, and we communicated a little bit back and forth on this. No offense to Joe Roberts, he's a talented rider, but he's never had this level of competition, and so for what he's done and accomplished, it's reasonable, right? What's the best he's done? He was a Moto America Super Stock Champion 600.
It was Super Sport back then, but essentially Super Stock 600.
Yeah, against 2, right? So, I mean, he's doing the right things to get himself where he needs to be a contender, but this move to the wrong team is not a step in the right direction.
Don't get me wrong, Rob, I love you. I love you, Rob. But if your number one credential is you beat Rob, that doesn't mean you're going to be dope in Moto 2. There's, steps between those things. I'm not saying that the ability to beat Rob can't segue in the future to Moto 2. I'm just saying there's multiple rungs on the ladder before you're on that roof, and he tried to jump. And he's going to spectacularly fail because, as we've said a million times in Moto 2, if you are not on a solid team, you will get chewed up, spit out, and then wonder whether you can even get a ride again, a la Josh Herrin, who had a hell of a lot better credentials than Joe Roberts.
Yeah. And Joe Roberts' best competition have been riders like Herrin, Beach, and Gerloff.
And Rob.
Who he's lost to, right? And we know that everyone in Moto 2 is as good, if not better, than Herrin, Beach, and Gerloff.
Yeah, and again, not trying to talk smack, just his resume is not really commensurate with the elevated class.
Commensurate? God damn.
Wow. Yeah.
SAT word.
And then
I do think that Joe is a better. I do think he's a better rider now because of his experience in CEV, and he's doing quite well in that class. And we know that's where the talent from Moto 2 generally comes from. but he's also not winning that championship. I think he's 5th in the championship right now, which is kind of reflected in the ride that he's getting in Moto 2.
Right.
So, but yeah, the best thing that we can hope for him is kind of what we see with the Tech 3 Moto 2 team, with a Mistral 610 is the bike, is that everyone knows that the bike is shitty, but you put in a ton of work and you have flashes of brilliance, and then you get signed to a Kalex team.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying.
And at the same time, too, the 2019 rule changes in the new engine could throw everything up in the air, and maybe he'll get lucky.
And this is kind of my point about the politics and making sure that you get it's all about your agent and who gets you the right rides. And if you don't make the right choices, you really could be doomed for your career. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah, and he's got to beat the expectations, and he might, because maybe everyone agrees that this bike is shit. So we'll figure it out. All right, next question.
Well, I mean, a lot of people, we've actually covered quite a few of the topics, the Maverick, the Mark KTM rumors, what's up with Bradley Smith, is Vinales talented or just a depressed teenager, should Iannone get a modeling job, Fabian Morales wants to talk about tires, no.
Next.
Yeah, next. Moto America season finale, we'll get to that. Joe Roberts sucking. So, if you actually look at a lot of the questions, we talked a lot about Jake, Ganji's replacing Brattle again, which is kind of interesting. But I kind of want to talk...
Right,
Sam Y is Gamgee.
Ganji. Exactly.
Gagne.
Look, Aaron, to circle back for a second, Aaron Mersker wants us to talk about what the fuck happened to Petrucci. Look, Petrucci's not a front runner day in and day out. He's on the Pramac Ducati. Yes, he's got some podiums, but that is like yo-yo results team. Just like the Ducati's been for a while, you might have flashes of brilliance, but then you just might get like a random, really shitty result. That bike is definitely less consistent than the other bikes. He's on the Pramac. The Pramac team is not really known for, like, their work ethic. I mean, not to talk shit, but that's just sort of like the rumors in the paddock. You know what I mean? Like, they've been around for a while, and there's been some smack talked about them. But what happened was Petrucci's not a race-winning, like, front-runner day in and day out. When the stars align, he does really well, but when shit is not aligned, when Mercury's in retrograde, he's not going to do so well. And that's just, that's what happens.
And he's on a GP17, right? But he also doesn't have the factory help to develop the newest, latest bike that they don't have the setup for, right? There's no way that Pramac has access to the Ducati proprietary software that allows them to manage tire wear.
Yeah. They're just not giving
There's no way.
And he's already doing well, right? Why would they want him doing even better, maybe displacing them, making them look bad, so on and so forth?
That'd be funny. But no, I mean, and Petrucci said it himself too, or even the announcers said it, and I'm not talking about Nick Harris, that when Petrucci showed up at Aragon, he still looked butthurt about Misano.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, right? So maybe it got into his head. We've already talked about rider confidence a lot this episode, but,
Right. And then Jeremy Friedman wanted to talk about Xavier Simeon. Did I say that enough to erase my Gagne mistake there? Bringing $1 million to Avintia so he can be in MotoGP. Look, I don't like riders paying for rides and stuff like that. I don't know, but it's not like he's literally writing himself a check. If he has a group of sponsors that want him in the series and they're going to help sponsor the team so the team has money, well, that's part of how things work. The team, the sponsors are sponsoring him and the team. Like, every team has sponsors that help fund the series, them racing the series, and if fucking Xavier gets that to the team, well, they have to be on the grid for them to race. And is he the greatest choice there was? No, but not a lot of riders wanted that, third tier Ducati. I mean, Laverty left to World Superbike because he didn't want to ride a GP15 for Aspar. You got to take what you can get, and those lower bikes don't always get top tier guys. Because like Everett has said, does Johnny Ray want to stop finishing first in World Superbike so he can ride the worst bike in MotoGP? Probably not. But do some mid-level Moto2 guys want to take that next step and give it a shot in MotoGP? Of course they do, because that's everyone's fucking dream. And if you've got sponsors that can help you achieve that dream, do it. Because I'm pretty sure any of us would ride the Avintia bike in MotoGP.
Well, yeah, and we're not talking about him getting into a top-level ride that he definitely doesn't deserve, right?
But this is not an Alex Marquez situation. This is not an Alex Marquez situation. Right.
No. And the guys that he's displacing are questionable about whether they should be there anyway, right? I kind of wonder if he's going to outperform Loris Baz, but Xavier Simeon, at least he's not 7 feet tall. He's already got that going for him.
Right.
That's true.
Exactly.
Got that going for
right,
him.
and that team just needs some fresh blood, some new, Hector Barbara. They need some new blood. Why not give it a shot? I think, we see that the Tech 3, the dual rookies kind of thing really set the world on fire. People are obviously, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. They're going to try something new, and they're going to put some new guys on it and see what can happen. Hopefully that, if Simeon has sponsors willing to help out, they're going to pull some sweat, have some sway with Ducati and get a little extra support and hope it works out. You can't have the entire Class B world champions. As much as it'd be cool if they would, but you can't. It just, it just doesn't work that way.
That'd be pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
All right, I see one here that I want to talk about.
Yes.
The Moto3 mirror weave penalty.
Before we do that, it sounds like Everett's got a bail because he has.
Wait, I'm gonna burn 4 minutes on that. I'm gonna talk about this.
Yes.
Do it. Perfect. All right, Ev, you go first then. You go first.
I mean, it's racing. Weaving is.
It's not going to be hard to burn 4 minutes when you only say one word every 8 seconds.
There's safety, and there's fucking doing what you got to do to keep guys behind you. Now, I don't know. I think the penalty, like if you took someone out and you were bar banging, but these guys are all aggressive. Like they race a lot harder than you and I, Rob. No offense.
Well, wait. So what do you mean? Do you think the penalty was too harsh or not harsh enough?
I think it was okay. I don't know. There's no harm, no foul.
A lot of people are saying that the penalty is nothing, right? Which it isn't.
It isn't.
Right?
It isn't anything. Doesn't mean anything.
No. But I think that that's valid because nothing actually happened, right? If he caused someone to crash, they put him at the back of the grid. But because nothing actually happened, they get this on record. They give him 6 positions lower on the starting grid. It's comparable to what they've been doing for the whole QP slowing in qualifying for Moto3, right? 2 riders this last round got 12 grid spot positions because they've been repeat offenders. But on the first offense, those guys didn't get 12. They got 6. So it's comparable to what they gave Muir for the weave.
It ain't comparable. The whole qualifying thing is the guys are rolling around trying to get a draft. And so they're saying, stop drafting, earn your keep. And now fucking Mir is saying, don't draft me, asshole, earn your keep. And then they fucking get mad at him for it. What is Mir just supposed to sit there and let the guy fly by? Like,
It's not about the drafting. They're not, don't focus on the drafting. It's the rule that they punished him for was dangerous riding, creating danger for the other riders, which we know we saw it if DeGian Antonio and Mir, if they both went the opposite direction at one point, they would have collided because the draft has you pulling up so much faster than the guy in front.
Or they could have backed off the throttle and not put themselves in harm's way. So you could argue it 2 ways.
Yeah, and he could have not weaved, right? There are so many what-ifs going on here, but we've seen this before that, in other situations, in other races, I can't say that we've seen this in Moto3 because I don't think anyone has received a penalty for weaving before. But there have been other races that I've watched where people have been instructed not to weave and have been penalized.
Yeah, but
it's dangerous for the other racers.
You watch it, like I pulled it up again just to watch it again. I mean, he's all over the place, but I think that he probably would have been at risk to win that race had he not done that.
Oh, no, he wouldn't have won the race. He would not have won the race.
Every time we see some close shit happening, or close passes in MotoGP, it's always like it's on the guy, the passer, to do the safe pass. It's on the guy following to get around the other guy. Like, it's not Mir's job to let that guy through, and if Mir starts weaving left and right, sorry, other bro, get the fuck away from him and pass some other way. That
No. Hold on. Hold on. That rule of like it's the passer's responsibility to pass safely is only valid if the passee, the person getting passed, doesn't do anything fucking stupid. Doesn't do anything erratic.
So Rossi should get penalized for pushing Dani almost off the track.
No, wait. What do you?
You only look
Rossi.
At the very core of what racing is. At the very core of what racing is you need to get to the line first and don't let the guys behind you pass. Breaking the draft is an absolute valid way. It's just like we used to say when they complained about the winglets making dirty air. And I'm like, no, that's a technical advantage. If you can steal the draft from the people behind you, that's a dope advantage. That's awesome on the engineers for negating that. Is weaving back and forth unsafe? I don't know. When was the last time you saw guys weaving causing a crash? He's just moving back and forth a little bit to
When was the last time you saw guys weaving this erratically like Mir?
It's a lot.
Like
I will
Jack
agree,
Mir,
but you can't.
Jack Miller did it in 2014 and broke the draft at Phillip Island. Like I specifically remember that, and I went back and looked at it. He made 2 moves, and he did them slowly. Like there was no weave. It was I'm going right and I'm now going left. And everyone talked about it. He didn't receive a penalty because it wasn't really that unsafe, right?
What happened was everyone talked about it because all they talked about how smart his ride was is that he wasn't faster than Alex Marquez, so he fucking outfoxed him. He was block passing him left and right. He was running him off the track. He was weaving left and right, but because he's a stone cold Aussie, everyone thought that was dope. But suddenly Mir with his fucking energy drink, which by the way, we have some. I forgot to tell you guys that.
Back on topic. No, the whole point about safe racing is matching expectations, right? Everyone expected Miller to make those subtle, slow moves, right, where he literally just went twice across the track and they were slow and controlled. No one expect Mir to actually weave, and he weaves so much that he just flipped the bike over but not actually change directions. The guys behind him at that point have no fucking clue which way he's going and can't react.
They used to go all the way to the left, hang over there for a second, then come all the way over to the right, hang over there for a second. He literally kind of was like, well, I'm going to go to the middle, and I'm just going to snake around over here and fuck you guys.
You know what, Rob?
Yeah.
What you said, the guys behind him don't know what he's doing, so they don't know how to react. You know how you react? Sorry, assholes. Got to stay behind him.
And if it was Marquez, we'd be praising him for some new technique, right? So
right,
like, come on.
right.
No, never. Never on this
That's what
technique.
I'm saying, though, is Rossi, you don't like my analogy, and it's not the same because it's not as dramatic.
It's not even close
but
to the
Rossi,
same because it was
Rossi
one move.
Pushed him off the track.
Was one
That's why he got mad.
It was one expected move, and he didn't push him off the track. There's footage from them in front, and there was plenty of room for 2 bikes there. This was not expected, and it very easily could have resulted in a crash.
Hey Rob, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Who at a club race weaved a bunch in front of you and kept you from getting to top 10?
At a club race, no one keeps me out of the top 10 at club races.
Yeah, exactly.
Anymore.
Fuck club racers, a bunch of assholes.
Fucking ruin them.
bunch of old men trying to live out their old dreams. But
I fit into that. By the way, Josh Heron thought I was 20, and he was supposedly going to invite me for some coaching. And then Cy from Radoslaw told him that I'm 31. And he's like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, exactly. Never mind.
You're old as
fuck.
Damn. All right, boys, I got a jam.
Okay, Everett's
all right,
out.
Everett,
Real life
get out
in
of
his
here.
way. Me and Rob going to stay and keep talking, though. Don't forget to upload, Everett. Me and Rob going to stay and keep talking because we got shit to talk about. Literal shit to talk about.
We're at 95 minutes right now. I think we've gone long enough.
No. People wanted a 3-hour episode. Said, look, we got the flyaways ahead. We got a title challenge down to the Phenom versus the fucking working man. 3 tracks in a row that usually produce pretty good racing. And I got to know, Rob, what is your prediction? What do you expect is going to happen? I mean, tell me how you see it.
For the flyaways?
Yes.
I was actually looking at last year's results because when we started talking about Mav, and I did notice that in 2016 he was on the podium at Motegi.
Right.
And to me, it jumped out because he was on the Suzuki. We were talking quite a bit all year about how the Suzuki didn't have any drive and how they couldn't use the horsepower they had found in that year. And yet he still managed to produce that at Motegi, which is a track that just has 90-degree corners and then straightaways. Like it's a silly track.
Yeah.
I think that all that confidence.
It's literally a track that would not have a MotoGP race if it wasn't for the fact that Daijiro, passed away at Suzuka. That's the only reason that they have it at Motegi. They have to have the Japanese race. They don't want to race at Suzuka, so Motegi takes his place.
That's pretty much it.
It should not be a MotoGP race.
Well, and Honda owns it, right?
Right.
And they
it's a little weird.
And they're not. They haven't put in the effort into Suzuka to make it safer if they could. But they still race the endurance races there, and the fucking MotoGP racers that go over there are like, holy shit, I don't even want to race here.
Right.
There are some corners where you just kind of don't push.
Colin Edwards said, there's just some corners where you don't crash.
Yeah.
Yeah. you just
bad
don't.
News bears.
Yeah.
But no, I think Mav's confidence is gonna come back a little bit. He gets a little bit of time here. The flyways are really stressful, but he has good, like pseudo good results there on the M1 from testing, and then he has that podium from Motegi last year. I think we'll see him have somewhat of a resurgence. Can he beat Marquez straight up? Can we finally get that Marquez Maverick battle that we've been hoping for the entire year? I'm saying no because I don't want to be disappointed again.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to make predictions because it's the worst. Like, you just feel disappointed. But, I mean, the question here is that Dovey has to come up bigly here. You know what I mean? Like, this has to be a bigly moment for him because, what did you just say? A shitty track with a bunch of 90-degree turns and some straights. Sounds like a Ducati track to me. Sepang's got two massive front straightaways and back straightaway that's just Ducati grunt. It's all we hear when Nick Harris, here comes that Ducati grunt. You constantly hear it. Like, Dovey has to come up big here. He's got to really say, like, this is, I shit the fucking burrito at Aragon and I got to come up huge. Yeah, I'm just going to keep saying it. # shit the burrito. But he's got to come up big. Someone asked me a few races ago, when do I think that Dovey could win, be the real title challenger? And I've said he has to win Motegi. Ducati goes well there. It's a solid track, but it's the Honda A track, and he needs to steal that victory from Marquez. And for me, the real sort of like the reckoning for me, the quickening, the Highlander, if you will, because there can be only one. It's gotta be Dovey needs to win Motegi. For me, whoever wins between Mark and Dovey, whoever finishes ahead of the other one, that's who's going to win the title.
I mean, if Dovey wins Motegi, it'll swing the momentum back, and Mark, it'll be head-to-head for the rest of the season.
Yes.
The thing that jumps out to me was the one problem that the Honda has kind of had all year is, and actually for quite a few years, is getting the power down to the ground out of those slower corners. And what did we see at Aragon with that slow corner onto the back stretch? They had it fixed. There was no time in which the Ducati just jumped away and made 20 feet, or the M1 or any of the other bikes made 20 feet on the Honda out of that slow corner onto the back stretch. So for them to have that in hand going into Motegi, which that's what 3/4 of the track is, I think it's looking good for them. So we might get a Honda Ducati 1-2 just like we had last year. I mean, maybe it'll be flipped in the different order, but I hope it'll be a good race between those two.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you saw, in all the other times that, the familiar Ducati grunt, but on that entrance of that back straight, the Honda was right there and even pulled them a little bit. It really seems like that particular problem, at least at Aragon, was fixed. Now, was that Honda or was that Marquez at one of his A tracks?
It is probably a combination of both. I mean, but even Ducati, they were running the softer tire. You think that's where the softer tire with more mechanical grip would really be able to shine. And we've heard that from Ducati at previous rounds, that they run the soft because it spins less, so that's how they get less tire wear out of it. And then Marquez was on the hard and Dani was on the medium, and yet they seemed about equal. It was kind of nutty to me that that's the result that we saw from such crazy variables. But yeah, I mean, I gotta lean towards they have it fixed, and they're gonna take that over to Motegi.
Real quick, my man Remy just hit me up, sup killer, and I said I'm recording right now, and he said no you're not, and I said I'll prove it, I'm giving you a shout out. 10 p.m. on the West Coast, dog. So,
awesome.
Right, so there's one more thing, and if y'all don't know who Remy is, he's the guy responsible for most of our ridiculous fucking meme. The dankest of the dank are him. Like, the dude's my man, and he really kept us going with the memes when we weren't recording. But there's one thing I want to talk about before we finished, Rob, and that was, did Jorge turn, he had his podium. They were close to the winners. A lot of people want to know thoughts on, did he turn the corner, or is it more of the same with him? And I've got some pretty specific thoughts on that, but I want to hear it from you, before we turn that, Jorge got his podium. They were pretty darn close to the leader. Is this the corner turned for him, or what do you think?
I mean, I called it a few rounds ago. I think I called it in Austria that he had finally turned the corner, and you guys said, oh, but the last time he had a good result, he got like 15th and 11th the next two races. And he did great in Silverstone, or he did reasonably well in Silverstone. He ran a different race. He specifically told us that he went out too slow, which is why he ended up in 5th. And then in the mixed conditions in Misano, he shit the bed.
Yes, the bed.
Sorry, the burrito.
Yeah.
The burrito. I think
shits
that
in their
finally. I think he's finally on the upward trend, and I think it started in Austria. And I'm gonna stay with that. And we just talked about it too. The last couple of rounds, some of them or Motegi and Malaysia, they're more swing in the direction of Ducati than the other bikes, so they may work out well for Jorge. Or it could be cold and it could rain and it like at Phillip Island, and he'll crash, and that'll be the end of his confidence. It's Jorge.
Right, exactly right. I mean, for me, it's more of the same. When he got his, he had his 4th place in Austria, and he got his 3rd place back in Spain. When everything is his absolute best A track. I mean, Jorge's run at Aragon is insane. Seriously, Wikipedia and go look at it. It's like 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a win in his last 5 appearances. He's ridiculous record. That's one of his A+ tracks. I mean, it's not Marc Marquez Coda level A+, but it's damn near that.
Nothing is that level.
Nothing's that level. I mean, Marc Marquez never lost in America, and that's still kind of weird. But like he got 3rd at one of his if not the best track of the year for him. So for me, he snagged his best result at the best track he had all year. It's going to be more of the same as soon as we get back to other tracks. What he has this year, and I hate to say it because I wanted him to win. I thought he would win 2 races. I like Ducati, and I really wanted him to win. The series would be better in many ways if he was winning the Ducati, but I just don't see the win happening because the closest he's been to the leaders were at the 3 best tracks he was ever going to do it at, and he didn't, and there's no more tracks for him.
Yeah, there are no more tracks for him. I mean, he has he either wins or crashes at Valencia.
Right.
So but Valencia is not really a Ducati track. It's too tight. They haven't really fixed the transition problems that they have in the understeer. And Ducati can't really open up the engine at Valencia, so it's not that great of a track for them. Where else would he go well at?
I mean, there's only 4 places left, and is he going to dominate at Phillip Island? Hard to see it, and maybe Motegi for the same reasons that I said Dovizioso, but that's not his style, and he still doesn't really seem to be adapting to it. We saw it. If there was ever where the Ducati goes well, it's Austria, and he didn't do that great. He got a pretty distant 4th, all things considered. He's just not. I just don't see, even the ones that kind of benefit Ducati, Sepang and Motegi, I don't think he's going to do that because those aren't really his style tracks.
Yeah, I don't have him for a win, definitely not. But if he gets 2 or 3 podiums, I won't be that surprised. And if he gets 2 or 3 front rows, I also won't be surprised.
Right.
So, I mean, that's about the best we can expect of him. I mean, it's funny when you were talking about the variability of his finishes this year and inconsistencies. I was thinking like, oh, like Petrucci's kind of had the same thing going on, and I realized that you would just destroy me for comparing Jorge to Petrucci. Because that's how it goes. You can't talk about 3-time finishing, 4th or 5th of the broken collarbone and all the other stuff,
right.
and then compare him to
legendary
Petrucci.
rides. That's the problem.
Yeah.
His shoes, it's just like Valentino. There's like when Casey Stoner went to Ducati, there was no expectations or shoes to fill, and so Ducati could actually sort of do their thing in case you have to go along with it. But when you have a rider the caliber of Lorenzo, suddenly wins are expected, and if you're not getting them, it becomes, well, who's not doing it right? Because that guy should be winning races, but that bike should also be winning races, so who's at fault? And I think there's always internal tension there, whether he wants to come out and clap at Misano for Dovi's fucking podium and try to be a good teammate or not. We all know the first guy you hate in all of racing is your teammate, just like the first guy in BrotoGP I hate is Rob.
Eyebrows would be getting so much shit right now if Dovi didn't have those 4 wins.
Yeah.
Right? He would, like, Ducati would be down in the dumps, and everyone would be like, why the hell did you sign Jorge? Why didn't you put that money into the bike or do all this other development? Like, what are you thinking? And yet their savior is Dovi. Is
fucking Moses.
Dad. Yeah, Ducati Moses.
Right.
I did use the word savior. All right, man. It's probably been an hour and 50 minutes. So we're closing this one out. I will be shocked if people make it to the end.
Everyone is clamoring that they want long episodes. We get these messages all the time. I expect, like, you guys could cover more, do longer episodes. Rob is convinced that 1 hour is what we should record, no more. And I say sometimes we should do longer ones. So, you know what I mean? I'm like, if you want longer episodes, tell us. But, you know, it depends. Are you listening all the way to the end? Are you not? I don't know. Did you quit after the homeless defecation story?
You mean the first 10 minutes?
The first 10 minutes? Right.
Someone did. Someone turned it off for sure. But no, I bet you will see a spike in the number of followers on Google Play for that story. Yeah, we're gonna have to come up with some interesting hashtags.
Yeah,
like I feel like we can get some new fans on that one.
I mean, literally, shit the burrito. You know what I mean?
Hashtag shit the burrito. Perfect.
Exactly.
All right, everyone, we are gonna take off now. Thanks for making it all the way to the end of this really long episode. I'm really not sorry for not recording for after the Misano race because we know you're gonna eat this shit up anyway. So we will
snap. Damn, Rob talking shit.
I had to go there. I know, right? It happens. They love us for hating on them too.
Y'all hurt Rob's feelings for real. He was like kind of a sad panda for a second. He's like, "What the fuck? I do one thing that's for me only." I mean, dude, like if your wife is taking a bubble bath and drinking some wine, don't give her shit about not doing the dishes. Talk about it. Talk about that shit some other time. She gets to do one thing for herself once, and what I'm saying is Rob is like the wife of BrotoGP. He makes the whole thing exist, and then I pretend like it's I'm the one who's doing it all.
Oh, I can't even.
Hashtag Rob is Kevin's wife.
That's terrible.
That's how we know you listen to the end.
There we go. Someone hashtag it. We'll send you a sticker.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have these. Kev, I'm sorry, I forgot to send our fan in Mexico that sticker with Camir's signature on it.
Oh shit! No way.
But yeah, no, I failed. I dropped the ball there. But we have some other ones. I think we forgot to tell you about these people. But we have, let's see, I got Chaz Davis's signature. I got Jordi Torres, Marco Melandri. Yeah.
Fucking Keanu. Keanu is on there.
Oh, do we? Keanu's where's the
He's
Keanu
there.
one?
There you go. If you made it all the way
there.
to the end,
There's Keanu.
if you heard the episode and the first thing you imagined were listening to my beautiful, clear, not at all echoey voice was the description of an old, drunk, homeless man taking a dump, and you're still with us, you get one of those stickers. First come, first serve.
Yep. Oh, sorry. Wait, no. The fan in Mexico wants the Leanne Camier one, right?
Yeah, because he loves MV Augustus. You don't get that. Our Mexican fan gets that shit.
Yeah, that one's already taken, but there are others. I think I have like 8 or 10 or something. So let us know on Facebook or Instagram, and we will mail those out to you.
Right.
All right, everyone.
All right.
Thanks for listening,
Later.
and I'm glad you made it all the way to the end. Take it easy.
Later.